course I can, Cynthia.
Oh.
Cynthia, listen, could you come back tomorrow and take care of us? We can't get a maid.
Oh.
It's rough.
Oh, I would like to very much, but I'm preoccupied.
She was everywhere, and yet somehow invisible. A face the world knew by heart, plastered on billboards, movie posters, and magazine covers, but a woman who fiercely guarded the quiet corners of her life. Sophia Loren was one of the last great stars of classic cinema, an international icon of glamour, talent, and resilience. She walked beside titans like Marlon Brando and Cary, stood shoulder to shoulder with Elizabeth Taylor and Audrey Hepburn, and left behind a filmography that spanned continents and generations. But beyond the flash of cameras and the glow of awards, there was another story. Quieter, more private, and far more personal. Because while the world watched Sophia Loren play queens, courtesans, and survivors, few knew she was fighting a battle behind the scenes. A battle not for fame, but for family. This is a story with three parts. First, the rise, when a young girl from war-torn Naples transformed herself into the most desired actress on the planet. When love entered her life in the form of a married film producer, and the cost of that love would shake the foundations of her career and country. Then the struggle, through miscarriages, public exile, and the painful silence of motherhood delayed. When Sophia Loren risked her body and her career for a dream few saw coming, to become a mother, in a world that never stopped expecting her to be a star. And finally, the quiet legacy. Two sons born from that long-fought dream. One who chose music, the other who chose film. Both who chose to live away from the spotlight, honoring their mother not with tabloid stories, but with lives filled with purpose, privacy, and creativity. So what happened to Sophia Loren's children? Where did they go when the cameras turned off? And how do they carry forward the legacy of a woman who gave everything to protect them? This is the story behind the legend, and the family the world almost never saw. Before she was Sophia Loren, she was Sofia Villani Ciccolone, born in a poor suburb of Naples in 1934, during the rise of Mussolini and the shadow of war. She grew up hungry, sleeping in crowded rooms, running from air raids, and dreaming of another life entirely. For her, beauty wasn't vanity. It was survival. By the time she was 16, she had entered a beauty contest, not for fame, but for food. She didn't win, but the judges noticed her. One of them was Carlo Ponti, a well-known Italian film producer more than 20 years her senior. He saw something in her that no one else did. Not just a pretty face, but presence, gravitas, strength. He cast her in small roles, gave her a new name, Sophia Loren, and began to build a star. Within just a few years, she exploded onto the European film scene. In the 1950s and early 1960s, Loren became Italy's cinematic crown jewel, starring in films like The Gold of Naples, Boy on a Dolphin, and Houseboat alongside Cary. Hollywood came calling, and she answered in every language. But it was her role in Two Women in 1960 that made history. Playing a mother during the wartime, Sophia gave a performance so raw and personal that it shattered the glamorous image many had of her. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress, the first ever given for a performance in a foreign language. It was a turning point. She wasn't just beautiful, she was powerful, real. She was, by then, a household name. The red carpet was her natural habitat. Movie studios begged for her. The world adored her. And yet, despite her fame and success, Sophia was already quietly turning her heart towards something else, something the world wasn't watching. She wanted a family, and she knew it would not come easily. For all her global fame, what Sophia Loren wanted most was not another film role or award. It was a family of her own. But that dream would become one of the hardest, most painful struggles of her life. The man she wanted to build that family with was Carlo Ponti, a towering figure in the European film industry. Ponti wasn't just a producer, he was a tastemaker, a visionary. He helped launch the careers of major Italian directors like Federico Fellini and Michelangelo Antonioni. He produced classics like La Strada, Dr. Zhivago, and many of Loren's own films. But Ponti was also over 20 years older than Sophia and married with 2 children when they met. Their relationship, which began when she was still a teenager, caused a national scandal in conservative Catholic Italy. Divorce was illegal, and their romance, though deeply genuine, was seen as immoral. Sophia was branded a homewrecker by some, and the Vatican publicly condemned her. The Italian courts even threatened her with charges of bigamy and adultery. And if you are into classic Hollywood icons, amazing stories, and newly discovered insights, then hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 10,000 subscribers, and your support will mean a lot to our channel. Sophia and Carlo moved their family to Geneva, Switzerland, where the boys could grow up surrounded by mountains and privacy rather than flashing cameras. Later, they spent time in Los Angeles as well, allowing their children to receive an international education while still staying out of the public eye. Sophia didn't bring her children to film sets. She didn't parade them in the tabloids. In fact, she made it clear the family was off limits. For her, motherhood was sacred, something to be fiercely protected, not exposed. In interviews, she once said, "I never wanted my children to grow up in the shadow of Sophia Loren. I wanted them to be themselves." And they were. Carlo Jr., with his calm temperament and meticulous nature, found discipline and expression in the world of classical music. He trained intensively, not as a celebrity son, but as a serious student. His performances received respect because of his skill, not his name. Eduardo, more emotionally open and imaginative, leaned toward storytelling. But even as a filmmaker, he kept his distance from Hollywood excess. His work is subtle, often reflective, exploring identity, generational trauma, family, and the quiet power of love. These aren't accidental themes. They echo the life he lived and the woman who raised him. Despite their talents, both sons remained careful not to exploit their family name. They didn't appear in tabloids. They didn't launch fashion lines or reality shows. Their paths were chosen, not inherited. This was intentional. Sophia Loren and Carlo Ponti didn't just raise artists. They raised men who understood the value of privacy, the burden of legacy, and the quiet dignity of a life well lived outside the lens. And as Sophia herself aged and began to step away from the public, it was her children who ensured her legacy was not reduced to red carpets or magazine covers, but carried on through meaningful, lasting work. Sophia Loren gave the world decades of unforgettable performances, but perhaps her most enduring legacy is not what she left on screen, but what she instilled in her children. As Sophia grew older and slowly stepped out of public life, Carlo Jr. and Eduardo became the quiet stewards of her legacy, not with grand speeches or public tributes, but through the work they created and the values they carried. For Carlo Ponti Jr., that legacy is expressed in music. He brings emotional intelligence and discipline to the orchestra, qualities his mother honed on set. Though he rarely speaks publicly about Sophia, those close to him say she remains a constant presence in his life, not as a celebrity, but as a guiding force. Her strength, her timing, her ability to command attention without speaking a word, those same qualities are in the way he conducts. Eduardo Ponti, meanwhile, has made his mother part of his storytelling. In 2020, he directed The Life Ahead, casting Sophia Loren, then 86 years old, in the leading role. It was her first film in over a decade. She played a Holocaust survivor running a home for troubled children, fragile, strong, and fiercely protective. It was a role that mirrored her own life, a woman who had suffered, endured, and fought to build something lasting. The performance was deeply personal, the direction even more so, and audiences around the world felt it. The film was a critical success, earning Golden Globe and Academy Award recognition. But beyond the praise, it gave Sophia Loren one final gift, a graceful, powerful goodbye to the screen delivered by her son. In interviews, Eduardo spoke of the emotional weight of that project. He said directing her was like witnessing a soul on fire, burning quietly but completely. It was a tribute, not just to an actress, but to a mother. Neither son has tried to recreate her fame. Instead, they've spent their lives honoring the things she valued most: hard work, artistic integrity, and the family she nearly lost everything to create. Their liaise of 2025, both of Sophia Loren's sons continue to live quietly but purposefully, each in his own artistic realm, honoring their heritage without fanfare. Carlo Ponti Jr., now in his mid-50s, remains a dedicated orchestral conductor. He travels between Europe and North America, leading performances in esteemed venues. Though interviews are rare, those who've attended his concerts remark on the same poised confidence and emotional clarity that once defined his mother's screen presence. His life is a tapestry of music and family. Married with children of his own, he prefers intimate gatherings over public appearances. In his own words, Sophia is always the silent heartbeat behind his work. Her guidance felt more than seen. Eduardo Ponti has become a well-respected film director and screenwriter. After The Life Ahead, he has quietly developed a slate of projects that explore themes of memory, belonging, and resilience. Some are tied to European and Italian stories. Others take place in North America. He and his wife, actress Sasha Alexander, live between Los Angeles and Europe with their 2 children. He's given a few more interviews since 2020, often reflecting on how deeply family informs his art. He describes directing Sophia at 86 as an honor that changed the way I think about storytelling. Neither man is chasing the spotlight, and that's precisely how Sophia intended it. Their lives are full, filled with children, careers, and quiet achievements. They attend film premieres or concerts, but more often they're in the audience, supporting others. Instead of tabloids, they share platforms, strings, and scripts. Their mother, Sophia, now mostly retired, spends her time with them and her grandchildren, surrounded by love and privacy in Switzerland. And while cameras hardly ever capture this family tableau anymore, it remains one of the greatest legacies of all. 2 sons who chose substance over spotlight, love over fame, and who continue to carry their mother's character, strength, elegance, warmth, into everything they do. Vess are, in many ways, her last and most meaningful performance. As of 2025, both of Sophia Loren's sons continue to live quietly but purposefully, each in his own artistic realm, honoring their heritage without fanfare. Sophia Loren isn't just a legend of the past. She's still with us today, living quietly, surrounded by the family she fought so hard to build. She remains a symbol of strength, elegance, and resilience. Her children didn't seek the spotlight she once owned. Instead, they chose their own paths, with music, with film, with purpose. And through their lives and their work, they continue to honor the woman who gave them everything. So, whatever happened to Sophia Loren's children, they grew up not just in the shadow of a star, but in the presence of a mother. And that made all the difference. If you enjoyed this story, give it a like and subscribe for more untold journeys behind cinema's greatest names. And tell us in the comments, what's your favorite Sophia Loren film, and why does it still stay with you?